Hey guys, so this is the brand new iPhone 17 Pro, and in this video we're going to be talking about what's new with the 17 Pro over the 16 Pro, and if it's worth to upgrade. So without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? Okay, so starting off with the design, this year's Pro models are pretty much made from the ground up using aluminum, which was kind of surprising. After only 2 years of using titanium on their Pro models, Apple's ditched their pretty much favorite material, so that's really interesting to see. And both the front and the back of this year's Pro models are equipped with Ceramic Shield 2. I'm not, of course, gonna durability test my phone because by the time this video's out, Jerry Rig Everything will have already durability tested both. So the iPhone 17 Pro comes in only 3 different colors, including silver, cosmic orange, and blue. I'm actually kind of surprised because I know that a lot of people really like the black iPhone, so pretty interesting to see Apple taking black out of their lineup. The new color this year is of course cosmic orange, and I personally don't really like it. I know that some people of course like orange. I feel like a really bright orange on a phone is not gonna be cool after the first month or 2 of ownership. It's gonna start to scuff up. It's gonna start to look really weird, but if you want everyone to know that you have the brand new $1,200 phone, definitely go for the orange. Everyone's gonna see it. I would personally have gone for either the blue or silver. I like blue because it's kind of a fun color. I think it looks really cool, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit and get a dark phone this year, opposed to my desert titanium iPhone 16 Pro. And of course, like I mentioned before, the durability of the paint on these phones, like the deep blue or the cosmic orange, is not gonna be the best. So take that as you will for the durability of the paint of this phone. The new design element for this year's gotta be the brand new camera plateau, and the camera plateau actually serves some pretty good purposes. One is all the major components are put in there, like the chip, the logic board, and other things are put in that camera plateau. Also, that gives Apple more room to put a better telephoto camera, which they definitely have done this year. And also, by putting all the major components in the top of the phone, it gives more room for a bigger battery and heat dissipation. The iPhone 17 Pro is powered by the A19 Pro chip, which, as we know, it's pretty much a routine that Apple bumps up a couple of the specs on the chip and calls it a day. That was definitely the case this year. However, I do want to mention that this year's iPhone does come with 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is actually kind of impressive because only a year or 2 ago, Apple was shipping MacBooks with only 8 gigs of RAM. So yeah, that's pretty cool. One of the most interesting new features on the iPhone 17 Pro has got to be the new vapor heat chamber. And of course, it does a pretty good job with dispersing the heat. On my previous phone, when I was taking a really long video or doing something for a long time, it did tend to heat up kind of a lot. And with this one, it just helps kind of like take that down a little bit and make it a little bit cooler to hold and make the chip cooler. Now, I do think this is pretty much Apple saying that the A19 Pro is going to thermal throttle. How does that work in the air? Because it doesn't have a vapor heat chamber, so I bet it's gonna heat up a lot. Don't get me wrong, the iPhone 17 Pro still heats up like previous generations, so yeah. Now let's talk display. The iPhone 17 Pro has got a 6.3-inch 120Hz Super Retina XDR display. One new feature of this display is it being able to go up to 3000 nits, which is actually pretty noticeable when you compare it to something like the previous generation iPhone. 3000 nits is great for being outside if you use your phone outside a lot, and it's just a nice upgrade. The display is also equipped with Ceramic Shield 2, which helps with the overall durability of this display and how well it can withstand scuffs and scratches. Ceramic Shield 2 also brings better glare reduction, and this is one of the very noticeable things on the iPhone 17 Pro. Because you're looking at the screen pretty much all the time when using your phone, the anti-glare is actually really nice, and compared to the 16 Pro, it cuts out lights very well. So let's talk about the cameras. This year, the iPhone 17 Pro is finally 48 megapixel on all 3 of the back lenses. The iPhone 16 Pro did have a 5x 12 megapixel camera, which is a bit tighter than the new 4X camera, but of course it was 12 megapixels, and if you started zooming in past that 5X, it started to fall apart and not really look great. So this new 48 megapixel camera is a 100 millimeter lens, and it technically goes up to a 200 millimeter lens or an 8X, using Apple's computational photography algorithms to enhance the photo. So yeah, that's pretty nice. The front-facing camera also got an upgrade to an 18 megapixel square sensor, letting you take vertical and horizontal selfies while holding your phone vertically for a more comfortable holding position. Now, we're all not surprised that the cameras get better and better every year. It's pretty much a routine for Apple to give the cameras really good spec bumps. Something was different when I was watching the Apple event this year. A first really nice upgrade was Apple Log 2, which is pretty much an update to the original Apple Log, which debuted in 2023. And the second thing, they mentioned ProRes RAW, and I was like, that's one of the most powerful video recording formats, which pretty much lets you change stuff like color, temperature, and ISO after the fact in post-production. Finally, shooting open gate. This pretty much means that you can use the entire square sensor on the iPhone without losing image quality, and after the fact, you can crop it to be horizontal or vertical without losing any resolution. Overall, these new camera upgrades are really nice, and I'm considering switching. Now that we've went over all the new features, let's talk about if this phone is worth it to buy, or you should go out and buy something else. First off, the iPhone 17 Pro starts $100 more expensive than the iPhone 16 Pro, but it technically costs the same as the 256GB 16 Pro model. Apple's pretty much giving you a higher starting storage, but they force you to pay for it. I guess it's nice for people who bought a 256GB iPhone 16 like I did last year, or maybe a 512 or a 1TB model. That of course won't make a difference. But for people needing the 128GB, that's a $100 price increase that you need to keep in mind. The iPhone 17 Pro Max of course stays the same as last year at the $1,200 starting price. But if you don't need all the pro features like triple cameras, being able to shoot open gate, ProRes RAW, and crazy telephoto cameras, you should definitely consider something like an iPhone 17, which this year is actually probably one of the best valued iPhones, since it has the same display as the iPhone 17 Pro, and that's really nice because it has a good battery life, some really fun colors, and great cameras for only $800. Let's say if you're on an iPhone 13 or older, definitely consider upgrading, because with the latest iOS 26 update, your phone is probably not gonna run very well. But if you're like a 13 Pro or above and don't need all the latest and greatest features, maybe don't upgrade to the 17 Pro unless you want to have all the new latest and greatest features, which is totally understandable. Alright, so that's the end of the video. I hope you found it helpful, and I will catch you in the next one.